My name's Leon. I was asked to come along and speak 10 minutes about my life as an entrepreneur, which is a word I learned how to spell. I also learned how to spell engineer when I became an engineer. So I've tried to compress it into 10 minutes. Last time I gave a speech at the last year's Grow Wellington thing, a friend of a friend of a friend said that I really gave them the shits. So some of you I hope I do, and some of you I hope you sort of go forward, because it can be kind of scary. What's just the magic button?
The right one.
Okay, so it all started here. But while I was doing third year up at Vic as a science degree, they had this paper called Management of Innovation, and you had to cross the road and you do these 2 hour-long lectures on business. I don't know why I was doing it. I think it was like easy credits or something at 300 level, which is exactly what I needed for my Weet-Bix degree. So basically what they said is that you didn't have to live your life in a lab coat. You could actually take these ideas and do these business plan thingamawapsits and have a company, which was all sound pretty exciting, because I was always inventing stuff. So then I went to Canterbury and got a different pair of glasses and became an engineer. It was really hard going to school, so I'm really pleased it was over. Then after a sequence of events, I ended up in Kenya, working for a British company. And I was working as an engineer, unsurprisingly, in the mobile radio world, fixing police telecommunication systems, driving around the country in a Land Rover. And all of a sudden, this chap came and blew up the American embassy. So it was a bit of one of those wake-up calls, you might say, because I was supposed to be... Oh, look at that. Comes up all by itself. I was supposed to be working up on this building here, adjusting some aerials, except I was mucking around, and how do you go back? So I climbed up the side of this building and took this photograph of the plume as, what was it, 130 or whatever it was, people died as this dust rose up. So I thought, well, shit, you know, you've got to be a bit careful with what you do. You just got to wriggle on and do things. So the general loose idea was working as an expat in Kenya, dealing with people like that, who were pretty grumpy and lots of guns, and working in that sort of area. It's kind of where I hung out most of the time. It's pretty cool, you know, and you get your Land Rover stuck up the hill and you have to deal with it, and lions come along, things like that. You know, this is pretty cool. I mean, you'd be driving along and there'd be a herd of giraffes, and you'd be going, shit, I hope they don't cross the road, rather than, oh my gosh, that's so beautiful, because you're doing 100 k's on them. So I had to leave that. The idea was earn a whole heap of money and come back to New Zealand. What's the next slide? Oh. So my parents said to me, you should probably go and buy a house, because that's really sensible. And I said, oh, nah, that's not cool. So the whole lot of stuff happened, but I ended up starting this company with a chap in Wellington called Rex. And this is a little building above big image print in the trades hall. This is where we started, the guy called Graham. And he was the programmer and I was the hardware guy, and we decided we were going to go and do this. The founding investor put some money on the table, and we had the basic premise that we're going to have fun and make money. The idea early on in the company was that we would be selling the company in order to have it grow. So we weren't going to hold on to this thing. The idea is that it's going to exit and all that sort of stuff. So then we built our first prototype. That didn't work, but we gave up on that one. So we iterated through. And then we built this one, and that didn't work either. Then we built this one, and it actually did. You have no idea what I make at the moment, and that's not terribly important. And then we built this one, because some guy said you should probably make it handheld, and things are getting smaller these days. This is probably in around about 2003 or so. At this stage, you're probably wondering what's going on. It's a handheld device for measuring the position of remote targets. And I distinctly remember almost everything Mark said, we did it completely the wrong way. So people said, so what is this thing? What does it do? Why would people want to buy it? And I don't know, it's just kind of cool. The whole idea came from the concept, which is kind of lucky that it did work, of measuring the position of a remote target, taking a photograph of it and popping it onto a map, because from an asset management point of view, that's all really interesting. We didn't realise that like police and governments and all those types of people might actually want to buy this thing and how much they would want to pay for it. We just literally sat down and spent $500,000 and built this. Then we built this one here, stuck it on the internet. websites were pretty cool that day. The company just about crashed into the ground, and we got this thing to the conference, into the time, and put it on the web, and then a couple of days later it got picked up by a geek website, and suddenly the traffic went from nothing megabytes, which was my mum coming to have a look, to 1.5 gigabytes overnight. It's like, oh shit, better change our plan on the internet, because that's when it was really, really expensive. Then this guy called us. He said, how's about you send us some of those things? And we said, well, I'm not really into the American Army, the kind of, you know, war machine. Turned out to be the Army Corps of Engineers, and they wanted to use it for asset management and reconnaissance and things like that. So we did a cooperative research and development agreement, which if you're an American, it's kind of hard to get. That kind of launched us off, and that started with our venture capital. So we sold off half of the company for about $4 million or something like that, and started to develop things together with the VC and all that money and the Army Corps of Engineers guiding us. So that was the whole, we had a customer that told us what they wanted, and we built it for them. We built this guy, and he got sent through Iraq and Afghanistan and got carried on. That's why he's tan, desert colour. My favourite colours are orange and brown, orange and grey. So then we actually ended up building this one. Which we got here. So what we've learnt is that you need to always be guided by a customer to do things. Don't sit in a little room and make them all up by yourself. Otherwise you spend a whole lot of money on something which no one actually wants. It took us a few times to figure that one out. So what's life like now? So we started Survey Lab in about 2002. It's now 10 years ago. By crikey. So one thing that you probably don't think you're ever going to get is something called founderitis. Now, does anyone have any idea what that is? Mark, what's founderitis?
Founderitis is, I don't need any help, just leave me alone, I'm going to get it. No, I want your money, don't want any help. I'm just about there, the project's just about finished, you know, the customer... I'm just about to sell the company and make squadoodles and thanks for your investment. Except it doesn't work like that. Survey Lab got founderitis. I was the founder of the company, I'm a technical person, I was the CEO for a couple of years, grew the company, the customer base, all that sort of stuff, but take it to the next level in terms of sales and things like that. It was time for me to step aside. So I fired myself. Fantastic move. Had to coincide with having the right person. Now we've got a CEO that's really, really good at building the sales engine, building the sales machine, the marketing, that sort of stuff. And I get to go and fly around the world, which is the next problem, and talk to people that have got what I call measurement challenges and figure out they want to measure stuff. So how do I measure the size of that billboard up on the side of that building without actually going up there? And by the way, I want to be within 1% of the size of it because we're going to send them a bill for the size of that billboard because it's all licensed. It's like, oh, shit, okay, well, we're going to figure that out. Got the technology for you, not responsible for the riots it's going to cause inside your city, like in France. I travel too much now. Probably 1 in every 2 weeks I'm on an international trip going somewhere. Last week it was Kuala Lumpur in Australia. Next week it's the United States. Earlier on this month it was it last month it was Nigeria and Germany. So you've got to be prepared. New Zealand is a fantastically small country which is a long way away from everywhere. And the other thing I learned is innovate or die. Because as Mark said, if someone isn't trying to eat your lunch, you're just wasting your time. So we have plenty of people wanting to sort of try and rip our technology off, and we can try and sort of have a war with them about our patents and things like that, but the only real way to stay ahead of them is to make something kind of cool which nobody else has and people are going to pay you money for. And that's what I've done in the last 10 years. Thank you.